Sonoma County. To all you ladies and gentlemen out there, a hearty and healthy Irish hello. You're listening to the Celtic Coach radio show where science, spirituality, and yes, self-discovery where they meet, where they kiss, where they dance, where they make love, where they try to understand each other and try to get to know each other a little bit better. What else? That's the whole show. You're listening on KOWS.FM if you're on the wacky and World Wide Web, and if you're out there flying around the universe, or you have a stereo in your UFO or your car, you're listening at 92.5 FM. F for Frank and M for Matilda. That was meant to be a cow. Sounded a bit more like a chicken with a sheep's voice. But however, hey, I'm not going to get into all that just at the moment. There's more important things that we got to talk about. So welcome to the Celtic Coach radio show. I'm your host, Dermot, also known as the Celtic Coach. I am a professional. I just want you to know that I'm an Irishman and I am a professional. Now, back in the world of doing careers and all that stuff is that's my Monday through Thursday. I'm a professional life coach, and I coach people on this thing called being human, which is the topic of our show today. But I've slightly tweaked the topic. It's called "It's Not Going to Spank Itself." Now, you might think, well, what Dermot might that show be all about today? Well, we're going to be looking at a few different aspects of this thing we call life, this thing we call the human condition. We're going to be looking at the willingness. Willingness is enough. A lot of the times in life, you know, we're programmed or conditioned, or we push ourselves in order to meet some type of criteria or result that we've set the bar way too high and will never get to. And we constantly berate ourselves or try to motivate ourselves to do things that we really don't want to do. Now, there are things in life, of course, that we have to do. I mean, I get all that. But we're going to be talking in a different scope of that. We're also going to be talking about you're always making the best possible choice in the moment. So don't beat yourself up for all the wrong choices, i.e. wrong choices. I'm doing air quotes on the radio, that you've made. I'm going to give a whole different spin on that today. We're also going to be talking about, in the third chapter of our show, giving ourselves permission. Giving ourselves permission to be ourselves. Giving ourselves permission to mess this thing up called life. Whatever part or past or present or maybe even future moment that you might encounter. Giving ourselves permission to just mess things up. So we're going to be talking about those three things. But before all of that, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show indeed. It's not going to spank itself. I'll tell you a little story. I was in LA a couple of weeks ago, and I was doing a training there. I'm at a thing called the Supercoach Academy, and I'm doing a training there. Totally different type of training from the coaching that I've been doing for years and years. I'm doing something completely different. And I have to say, I'm in love with it. It's just phenomenal. It's fantastic. It's all the F's. It's frickin' fossum and funny and frolically great. Okay, it might take a while with the F's, but you get the picture. And I was walking down the road, and I was walking down on Venice Beach during the break, and I saw this pair of women's shorts, you know, like jogging shorts. Now, I wasn't shopping for them. They just were out in front on the thing, so let's just get that straight. And on it, it said, "It's not going to spank itself." And I thought to myself, boy, is that not what I'm doing with my life? I'm constantly spanking myself to motivate myself to keep doing things that I want to do and some things that I don't want to do. So we're going to be talking about that today. It's not going to spank itself. Or is it? Like, think about it this day. What is it about? Like, we're going to be talking a lot about the human condition today. And I was thinking this morning, like, what is it about being human that we have to spank ourselves or motivate ourselves into doing stuff that a lot of the times we don't even want to do? Like, here's a great idea. Let's stop spanking ourselves. let's stop doing the stuff that we don't want to do. Now, I know that you gotta, pay the bills and take out the trash and even shower sometimes. And I know it's hard and I don't like doing it myself. But putting the dirty underwear into the clothes basket as opposed to beside it. And that's a whole other show about how do we do that? How do we muster up the courage and the confidence to do that, to get it inside the basket? But however. So why is it that we insist on spanking ourselves into motion? Why is it we insist on spanking ourselves to get us to do things, some of what we like, some of what we don't? Is there a better way? Well, I was thinking about this morning and I thought, if there was a better way, I could pay someone else to do what I don't want to do. That would be the first thing. Like, I'd gladly pay a friend $1 to stand by the dirty clothes basket and put my underwear in the basket. And every time he did that, I'd give him $1. I'd gladly pay a beautiful woman to come to my house, hang out in my office, and just, every 10 minutes or so whisper in my ear, "You got this. You can do this. You're awesome. You're so confident." I would pay that. I'd even pay Tony Robbins to come to my house and scream at me every time I want to sit down in front of the TV. "You can't sit down in front of the TV. Come on, get up, get motivated." Okay, Tony. Or how about every time I just want to relax or meditate, and I tell myself, "Oh, I don't have time for meditation. I'm way too busy." I could have, what's his name? Deepak Chopra. I could have him come over. He could share a poem in that very soft but annoying voice. Or he could just meditate for me, even better. Now, wouldn't that be nice? You know that guy, Tim Ferriss, he wrote that book, The 4-Hour Workweek. By the way, who's got 4 hours to work? That's a lot. I'm going to write a book. It's going to be called, The 4-Minute Work Week. Yeah. On Monday morning, I'm going to sit down at the beginning of my work week, and I'm going to spend 4 minutes writing out all the things that I'm not going to do for the entire week. And then that frees me up to do all the things that I want to do. You know what I find fascinating about being human? We're the only species that will with conviction, mind you, we'll say, I'm going to do this, and then not do it. And then we'll go to a therapist to find out why we're not doing all the things we want to do, only to find out that it's my mother and father's fault. And that they're the ones stopping me from doing the things that I actually want to do with my life. Even though they're no longer living or they live miles away, apparently parents have these secret magical powers that they transfer to me, on me, from far away, that stops me from doing all the things that I say I want to do, but don't. Well, now we do. I have to put a clause on that, because in Ireland we do say that my mother's a saint and my father is God. So maybe they do indeed have some type of magical powers. I don't know. It's quite possible. So, all that being said, which, by the way, there was absolutely no rhyme or reason to any of that. It just came to my head, so I spoke it out. It's not going to spank itself. Let me try that with an Austin Powers. Honestly, baby, it's not going to spank itself. Let me try that with a Scottish accent. Oh, I can tell you, Dermot, it's not going to spank itself. I like that. That's better. All right, so it's not going to spank itself. And maybe that's a good thing, because, look, beating a horse, or beating a horse to wear a dress, that'll do nothing for the horse. And that's not what the dress was meant for. In the same way that spanking ourselves to do the things we don't want to do will do nothing for our motivation. And besides, we weren't built to spank ourselves. Now, of course, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. But that, my dear friends, is no blarney. All right, welcome to the show, everyone. Let's jump into our content. We're going to be talking, if you just joined us, you've missed the rant, but you can go to my website, The Celtic Coach, CELTIC, thecelticcoach.com, and if you go to radio show and you go to weekly weekly shows, you'll pick up. I'll post it on Sunday night on the web. And if you want to sign up for there's a free booklet or something there on the website. I'll send you a link to all the shows every Sunday night. So feel free to do that at all. But no pressure at all. No selling here. I love selling. I used to say I hate selling, but I love selling. Like, why not tell people what the hell you're doing? Otherwise, they might never know. All right. So it's not going to spank itself, or is it? Willingness. Let's talk a little bit about willingness. But before that, I think we should play the Happy Irish music again. Just for some bizarre reason, I'm feeling to do it. Give your brain a rest from that rant. Who was that Irish guy ranting? I don't know, but he was crazy. Wouldn't stop talking. The living room. All right, welcome to the Celtic Coach radio show. I'm your host, the Celtic Coach, and that was some happy Irish music. In case you're having the blues today, which is totally fine. If you're going to go through hell, you might as well enjoy it. If you're going to have the blues, well, give yourself permission to enjoy it anyway. All right, willingness is enough. Now, here's the thing, everyone. Here's the thing. If it's one thing, it's two things. If it's three things, it's four things, as my dear old mother used to say. As humans, right, the show is dedicated to being human and trying to explain the human condition. If that's even possible, I don't know. It's a tall order, I have to say, even for an Irishman who likes to talk a lot. But let's talk a little bit about willingness. Say you've got a project, you've got something that you want to do. Now, most of us are conditioned that we start off, and if it doesn't go the way we want, then we get peed off about it. If it doesn't start to happen in the way that we've predestined it or preordained it to happen, we start to get a little bit ruffled under the feathers, right? You know that feeling? It's not going the way I want it. It's not, all of that nonsense that goes through our head, right? Now, here's the interesting thing. Let's step back from that for a moment. Let me give you a metaphor. A baby learning to walk. Now, when a baby's learning to walk, they don't beat themselves up because they can't get it in the first try. They don't have to go to therapy to find out why it is they're not walking or getting it or what's blocking them or what beliefs are in place that are messing with their self-confidence. Babies inherently know that at some point they're going to get it. The only thing that needs to be there for a baby to learn to walk, is willingness. It's enough. It's enough for the baby. Now, the baby might not be sitting in front of the mirror going, okay, all I need is willingness. I don't need anything else. That Irish guy on that radio show said, all I need is willingness. So I don't need to worry about the confidence or the competence or the skills or the capabilities or the person I am. Like, they may not be doing that. But there's a willingness on the child's part. And by the way, that willingness is conditioned into us before we even get here. When we're off in the spirit realm somewhere, don't ask me where, it's somewhere next to nowhere, it's conditioned into us that there's a willingness to go through this. Like, we probably sit there on our angel wings with God and say, okay, God, so what's this whole thing? You want me to go down there and put on a human body where it's going to be sick, and I'm going to have ailments, and I'm going to have coughs, and I'm going to have diseases, and I'm going to contract all sorts of things, and my body's going to fall apart as I get older, and I'm going to lose my memory, and as I'm a baby, I don't have a clue what I'm doing. I'm going to poop everywhere. I'm not going to be able to control anything, and when I get older, it's going to happen all over again. And God's like, yeah, does that sound cool? Not really, God. I mean, could I could I think about this for, could I give this some attention? Because I don't think so. I'm up here. I don't have to worry about anything. I'm flying around in the clouds. I don't have to worry about food because I don't eat. I don't worry about drink because I don't drink. I can create a bottle because I'm made out of ethereal, spiritual energy. I don't sleep. I don't have to worry about relationships and trying to get them right. I don't have a career up here, which is really nice. And I don't have to pay rent, which I'm really happy about, and I appreciate that you're not charging rent up here in heaven. And you want me to now to do the opposite of all of that, all that good stuff, and go down there. All because you want me to have a human experience. Well, like I'm a spiritual being going to have a human experience. Is that what's on offer here, God?
Yes, that's exactly what's on offer.
I'm going to have to... Can I get back to you on that, God? Because that just... Something seems a little bit weird about that. I don't really know what it is, but give me a couple of 100 million years. I'll get back to you. Okay, I'll text you. Yeah, I'll call it... What? Yeah, god.com. Okay, I'll send you an email. All right, cool. Like, for some reason, we have willingness already built into us. So we don't have to worry about that. It's okay for us, think about it this way, like inventors. Inventors are willing to mess up. Inventors are willing to give themselves some breathing space. We're the only species on the planet. We're the worst, and I do mean the worst with a capital F, that in terms of predicting how long something's going to take. Like I told myself at 30 I'd be wealthy and rich. Hasn't happened yet. I told myself 3 months take me to create my website. 17 months later. I told myself I was going to walk across America from Los Angeles to Washington, D.C. in 6 months. Took me 16 months to do that. So we're terrible at trying to predict. Now, on top of predicting, we're terrible predictors, right? Outside of maybe Nostradamus. But we're outside of that, we don't even give ourselves permission to mess up when we do mess up. We judge ourselves horrifically. And you know the reason, I'll just give you the answer actually. You know the reason why things look too hard and too risky and too impossible? Because we have reasons. We find all the reasons in the world to not do the things we want to do. Did I say that right? To not do the things we want to do and to do the things we don't want to do. I've lost myself on that one. I have no idea what I was just talking about. But back to the reasons. We have reasons why we shouldn't do that. I'm not confident. I don't have the time. I don't have the capabilities. I don't have the vision. I don't have the character. I'm not that type of person. We have reasons why everything looks so hard. Now, think of a project in your life. If you were to have no reasons, another way of saying that is your thinking. Like if you just looked at a project and you took all the negative thinking, you just pressed a button and all that negative thinking went away, right? Deleted, whatever. Or just didn't become important to you. And you looked at that project from a point of view of like, wow, that would be fun to do. And you just stopped it there. You didn't add any commas. That'll be fun to do, but biggest dream killer in the world, but biggest dream killer in the world, but something every human has. But you just, I said it again, didn't I? Yeah. You just looked at it like, here's the project, it'd be fun to do, and I'm going to go ahead, and whatever the first step is that appears to me or that gets in my head, I'm going to start there. Right? How do you walk from LA to DC? One step at a time. You just put your foot in front of the other. And it happens. All right, I got a question for you. Here's the question. Since in coaching, questions are the answers. At least the good ones. And the best questions happen in the moment. For all you coaches listening out there, Ravi, are you listening to the show today? The best questions happen in the moment. They are created and designed in the moment. All right, Ravi, that was just for you, listening in your car. Keep your eyes on the road, though. You've got people in the car with you. Here's the question. What would you be willing to do with your life? Even if you knew that you might fail at it. What would you be willing to try? Even if you knew that you might fail. What's one small step that you would take on a project that you would really love to do? And take it anyway, even if the possibility, which the possibility is always there, by the way, no amount of thinking, rationalizing, talking to anyone is going to give you any more certainty about the outcome of a project. There is always uncertainty. It's inherently built into everything. So what would you be willing to do or to try in your life, even if you knew you might fail? Ponder that question, everyone. It's a really good one. And we're going to be right back with the second part of our show. You always make the best possible choice in the moment. Or do you? Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to the Celtic Coach radio show where science, spirituality, and self-discovery meet. All right, we're talking today about the topic of our show today is it's not going to spank itself. Now, if you just joined the show, you're thinking, okay, what has happened to Dermot? Has he been hitting the bottle? Oh, he's been hitting the bottle, all right. He hits it every day with a hammer. No, I haven't been hitting the bottle quite at all. I'm drinking my tea today. I've got my beautiful sweet rose caffeine-free Tulsi tea. It's actually quite good. It's good for the chakras and the brain and the flesh and the bones and the skin, and it keeps your toes straight when they just want to curl. So that's good. I have straight toes now. All right. My toes used to point north. Now they're pointing east, which is great. It's very relaxing to have your toes pointing east. All right, we're talking about it's not going to spank itself, which is another way of saying is we think in life we have to motivate ourselves to create everything. We think in life that we have to do it all. We think in life that we are the ones in control. We think in our lives that unless we do it, it ain't going to happen. And I'm going to challenge that today. I'm going to challenge that conditioning, that thinking that you have around that. Because what I found in my own life is something to the contrary. Now, that's not to say you don't, you get up and there's certain things you got to do. Absolutely. But a big portion of life, so a lot bigger than you may believe or know or think or even see, hear, or feel, has a mind of its own. Now, this mind you can call God, Spirit, Jehovah, Bob, Nancy, Yahweh, Krishna, Hugh. By the way, did you know that Hugh is one of the oldest names for God? Human means God in man. Isn't that interesting? And if you took the word man and you spelt it backwards, it's Nom. Nom meaning German, meaning the name of. Human, the name of God in man. So there's a God that dwells within you. And my advice? Accept it. Just accept it. Accept it, man, for God's sake. Accept it. I don't know if I can, Sean. Well, you'll just have to try. And by the way, was that really a terrible Sean Connery accent? All right. You always make the best possible choice in the moment. Now, as a coach, and I also train coaches, I'm very honored. It's a very noble profession, the coaching. For all you coaches out there, wannabe coaches out there, coaches in training, it's a very, very noble profession. I happen to love it a lot. And if you ever want to get some coaching with me, you can email me at thecelticcoach@gmail.com or go on my website and email me there. Or you could just send up some smoke signals or some doves, white doves with, the little thing on the little thing on the leg, little note. However you want to do it, it's totally fine. But in coaching, one of the things that I train, it's called one of the principles. There's 5 of them, but there's one principle that I change. There's one of them that always struck me as very, very incredible. Now, principles are basically truths. Truths. It's something that is true, regardless of whether you're Irish, English, Scottish, or Germanic, or just manic. Right? They are principle. Gravity is a principle. It works whether you're in Jerusalem or whether you're in Blaytown, County Meath in Ireland, or whether you're on the cliffs of Moher in County Kerry. And I hope to God the cliffs of Moher in County Kerry, I'm not sure, they may not be. And I apologize for my Irish prehistoric knowledge in this moment, if they're not. You always make the best possible choice in the moment. As humans, we always make the best possible choice in the moment. It's one of the tenets, one of the principles that I teach online to the students who are becoming coaches. And it's a fascinating principle because it gives us the permission to not beat ourselves up for making a wrong choice. It brings some understanding to all the things that we call mess-ups and F-ups and everything else. I won't be using bad language on the radio. I gave that up quite a while ago. I only use it now at home, in my office, in the living room, with my friends, but I don't use it here on the radio. I gave it up a long time ago. And it gives us the permission to look at our past behavior, our past actions in a completely different way. And I'm proposing that this is actually true, that people do always, and I mean always, not sometimes or every now and then, but people always make the best possible choice in the moment. Now, I'll give you an example. Looking back on my life, I smoked for years. I smoked like a pack a day, right? And I drank and did all that other crazy stuff. But smoking was one of those things that stuck with me. When I got stressed, I would have a cigarette. And I used to beat myself up for years. People would say, oh, you need to give up smoking. Like, yeah, thanks, I'll get right on that. Which is why, by the way, when you tell someone they should stop doing that, they won't. Because there's a natural process to life. Everything goes through a process. Babies go through processes. Adults go through processes. Teenagers got to go through processes. This whole life is just one big process. And so there's a process that needs to happen. From moment to moment, from experience to experience, from day to day, to week, to year, to life to life. There's a process. And everything that happens in that process, if we are divine beings having a human experience, which I believe we are, then everything that happens in that human experience, i.e. you and me, and the dog makes 3, everything that happens in that human experience must be for some type of good. It cannot be set up for bad. The big fella upstairs, in my view, didn't send us down here to have a rotten life and a rotten experience. Now, I'm not saying that bad stuff doesn't happen. It does. Stuff happens. Now, what makes it bad or good is simply our thinking, which is a whole other show. But stuff happens. There's another word. I'm not going to use it, but you know it. The sh word. Shh. Shush. The shush word. Shish kebab. Shish kebab. Stuff happens. Now, what's really interesting is, again, if you look at babies, we'll use the analogy of babies. Babies don't beat themselves up for making a wrong choice. Oh, Mommy, guess what I did? I did another poo-poo in my pants. I'm such a horrible kid. I can't seem to control my bowels at all. I don't understand it. I try, and the poop keeps coming out. What's wrong with me? Do I need therapy or something? Right, the kid doesn't mess themselves up for making a wrong choice. Animals don't mess themselves up every time they do something wrong. They just go, okay, won't do that again, didn't feel good, and away they go, chomping on their grass, or whatever they might be doing, digging holes in my garden. Alright? But we as adults, who are conscious and learning lots, we have this thing that anytime we make a mistake, which in Hollywood, by the way, when they make a mistake, they just do another take. It's called a mistake. They learn from it and they move on. Now, it doesn't even matter if you don't learn from your life. It really doesn't matter in the end scheme of things. Because you'll come back and you'll do it again. All right? But people are always making the best possible choice in the moment. Because think about it this way. Here's another way of thinking about it. Ask yourself this. Look, take one thing in your life that you're beating yourself up over. Right? Maybe it was a sloppy divorce, or, maybe you fell out with a family member, or whatever it might be. You lost money, right? You did drugs at some point, whatever it is. Look back on that now and ask yourself this question. Why the hell did I do that? No, that's not the question. What was the positive intention that negative behavior had? Right? So think about it. What's a negative behavior that you have, or that you had, or have, even currently, and ask yourself, or ask that part of you, if there is such a thing, what's the positive intention, or what was the positive intention of that behavior, either in the past or happening now? And what you'll find is that everything has a positive intention, which means that we're always making the best possible choice in the moment. Now, when you look back on all the choices of your life and you think, oh God, that was a terrible choice, I wouldn't make that again. That may be true. But in the moment that you made that choice, that was the best possible choice that you could have made for yourself, given the level of thinking, given the level of information, given the level of experience, given the level of wisdom, given the level of knowledge and intelligence that you had in that moment to make that choice. So give yourself a break. Give yourself a break, everyone. Everyone on the planet, I don't care who you are. They did this study on these guys in prison who had done some horrific things. And they interviewed them to find out why they did it. And do you know that there was a few of them now that they were just psychotic. They were absolutely gone. Right? But 99% of those men that they interviewed, they all said something to the effect of, I was looking for more self-acceptance. I was looking for more love. I was looking for more understanding. I was crying out for someone to help me. Right? They all gave these types of examples. All of them gave these types of positive intentions from that negative behavior. Now that is a principle which means it's true for everyone, just like gravity. That people are always making the best possible choice in the moment. So give yourself a break, everyone. And even more so, give the people around you a break. Because they're doing the best they can with what they have in the moment. Now, I look back on my life, and I may have, there's certain things that I did that I go, oh my God. But I look back at them and I can see that there was a positive intention. Sometimes it's just about keeping safe. I smoked for years, like I said. And smoking for me, even though I knew it was wrong and bad and unhealthy and all of this stuff, blah, 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 blah. Everyone told me every day. Didn't matter. I did it because it was fulfilling a positive intention, which was for me to relax. Every time I got stressed, I took out a cigarette and it just helped me to relax. That was the positive intention. Look at anything in your life, anything that you call a negative behavior, which really there's no such thing. It's just an action and you decide whether it's negative or positive based on your level of thinking about it. Right? All right, let's do a quick station ID. I've run over here a few minutes. If you just joined us, welcome. You're listening to the Celtic Coach radio show, where science, spirituality, and self-discovery meet. You're listening on KOWS LP 92.5 FM, Occidental, California. We're streaming on the World Wide Web at KOWS.FM. And if you want to call in the station, I'm here every Friday. We do a show, Celtic Coast radio show, every Friday from 1 to 3. We have interviews from 1:30 to 2:30, and we do our content from 1:30 to 2:30. And the time between that, from 1 to 1:30 and from 2:30 to 3, we play the best in 80s music. So welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, we're talking today about it's not going to spank itself. Now, by the way, Seamus has just walked in the door, and for those of you who don't know Seamus O'Flaherty, Seamus is our resident leprechaun. Yes, he's an Irish leprechaun, came with me from Ireland many, many years ago. And he's going to be doing the top 11 list. Top 11 things you absolutely do not need to know about being a human, a god in man. So stay tuned. That's coming up in about 11 minutes. All right, so don't beat yourself up for making a wrong choice. Animals don't do it. Babies don't do it. So why should you? And remember, every choice has a positive intention. All right. Let's talk about, we play the Irish. Should we play the Irish thing? No, let's not play the Irish thing. All right, we're going to move into the last segment of our show. And now this one is called Giving Ourselves Permission. Now, this is a very interesting one. Giving ourselves permission. You know, we're so tough on ourselves as humans that we don't even allow ourselves to make mistakes. Even when we're learning something new. Right? I have students that come in and they take the first class out of they're gonna do about 10, 20, they're gonna do like about 35 classes, and in the first or second class they come in and they're already being hard on themselves about not getting they do a little bit of coaching, they coach somebody and they're learning some new techniques and they're so hard on themselves. And I say to them all the time, says, listen, give yourselves a break. Give yourselves permission to mess this up. Give yourselves permission to do this badly. If it's worth doing badly. Right? People that don't make mistakes, they usually don't make anything. So give yourself permission to do it badly. Give yourself permission to show up, try stuff, and be yourself. Give yourself permission to get it wrong. Give yourself permission to get it right. Give yourself permission to love it and hate it at the same time. Give yourself permission not to be the best, most popular human being on the planet. Give yourself permission to be sad when you're sad. Give yourself permission to be happy when you're happy. Give yourself permission, for God's sakes, man, to just not get this thing we call being a human, to get it right all the time. It's not possible. Oscar Wilde says, be yourself, everyone else is taken. Give yourself permission just to be yourself. We're all so unique. We're all such beautiful, unique individuals, humans, having a spiritual beings, having a human experience. We're all so unique in our habits, our conditions, our creativity, our expressions, our personalities, our character traits, our flaws. But we're just too damn hard on ourselves. And I'm speaking for myself here. This whole show is dedicated to me. I need to hear this. You know? But because I need to hear it, I'm putting it on you that you need to hear it too. That's how Irish people do things. If I'm going to hear this, then you're going to hear it too. I'm going to put it on the radio, and I'm going to send it out to you in your newsletter, and I'm going to put it on my website, I'm going to put it on YouTube, I'm going to put it everywhere I possibly can, because you need to hear this, because if I need to hear it, then you better hear it too. Ah, yes, the power of projection. Love it. Now, here's an interesting thought. You, my dear friend, my dear listeners, who or what are you? Like, think about that for a moment. Have you ever thought about that? Like, who or what are you? Now, who entices identity, but what entices could be anything. Are you your thinking about yourself? Are you your thoughts about yourself? Are you your beliefs or habits or opinions or judgments or perspectives or personality or character or idiosyncrasies, stupid mistakes? Are you all of that? Are you all of that? Are you none of that? And if you're none of the things I just mentioned, then please don't make me repeat them because I've already forgotten them. But the things that I just listened to the recording. Play it back on a cassette if you really want to have some fun. I'll be singing Humpty Dumpty's song if you play it backwards. But it's got to be on a cassette. Doesn't work on CDs or MP3s. Are you all of those things or are you none of those things? You see, we go through life and we are so tough on ourselves that we're not that we'll pay other people, coaches, therapists, consultants, to just tell us that we're okay, to tell us that we're actually not broken. And by the way, you're not broken. You're a spiritual, divine being having a human experience. There's nothing broke about you. Now, we all have little cracks here and there, but of course that's where the light shines out, right? But we're not broken. There's nothing broke about us. Now, we got stuff that we're dealing with in life. I got body stuff, and I got health stuff, and I got all sorts of stuff going on. But it's not who I am. Not to get too spiritual on you. But I'm made up of all of those things, and yet I'm not. There's something bigger that's going on. And if we're willing to just give ourselves a break, knowing that in each moment we're going to make the best possible choice that we can, if we're willing to give ourselves permission to not have it perfect, to not be in the perfect relationship, to not have the perfect bank account, to not have the perfect husband or wife or partner, to not have the perfect job or career. Now, all of those things are important to all of us, of course. But there's something that's running the show behind what you call your part in life, which we have a part and the man upstairs, God, or the lady upstairs, Divine Mother, she's got a part in this too. And her part is a lot bigger than what we think it is. Her part is like 95%. Ours is like 5%. We just got to show up and be here and try stuff. And be willing to learn some things along the way. To discover some things that are true about us. The nature of life is a willingness to go on this journey, on this adventure, and to discover things that are already true about ourselves. As a life coach, I'm not trying to fix anyone. I'm not trying to get them to a happier place. I'm doing my best to show them that everything that they need, want, desire, they already have it. They already are it. But I'm just supporting them as a coach to get out of their own way so they can start to see who and what they truly are. There's no such thing as fixing people. That's like trying to fix a brand new toaster. There's no point. But we'll do it anyway, you know. We'll do it anyway. All right, we're going to come back and wrap up the show in a few minutes. Seamus, are you ready? You want me to play the... Yeah, Dermot, you go ahead and play the Irish music. All right, I'll play the Irish music, Seamus. But get your butt over here, Seamus. You're running a little late today. You're supposed to be here... Well, you know you know when you were supposed to be here, right? Oh, I do. But hang on, Dermot. I'll be with you now in a minute. Go on, get over here now, Seamus. It's. We got 12 more minutes left in the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to play the just to give the Irish leprechaun a break so he can actually, you know, get his act together. Do you have your top 11 list? It's on humans today, right? Well, I'll try, Seamus, I'll try. All right. I suppose you want to sit in my chair, don't you? Of course I do. All right, come on over here, Seamus. All right, watch that, Seamus, will you? Oh, you didn't. Just hold on. Turn that music off, will you know, to me? I will, Seamus. Are you good to go? Oh, yeah, I'm ready to go now. All right, just relax. All right, here you go, Seamus. All you. Take it away, Seamus. Hey, hello everyone. How's it going there now? All right, hang on a second there now. Just let me play with that knob there. I want to look like Dermot's looking important, you know. Seamus, get on with it, will you? Oh, I'm getting on with it now. Don't you worry. There's something bigger running the show, and it's not you. I was listening to the show on the way over here on my bicycle. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Seamus O'Flaherty here, coming to you from the Celtic Coach radio show. And, all right, we got top 11 list of things you absolutely do not need to know about being a human. All right, number 11. A human is someone who cuts down trees, makes paper, and writes "save the trees" on the same paper. And for some reason, that paper is usually found in a public bathroom next to a hand dryer. Strange. Number 10. Have you ever done something stupid and then paid someone else to tell you why you did it? Well, have you? Number 9. Have you ever made a mistake and then blamed somebody else for it? Oh yeah, I've done that a few times myself there now. The missus, she gets it, you know. Alright, number 8. Have you ever tried to calm. Have you ever tried to calm a barking dog by shouting at it? Have you? Number 7. As a human, have you ever cried at something funny or laughed at something sad? That one needs a bit of work, I think. That one certainly needs some work, Seamus. That was terrible. Oh, don't you worry about it, sure. You didn't write them, did you? My lovely lady wrote them. And I'll tell her what you said now if you keep that up. Get on with it, Seamus. All right. Oh, he's cracking the whip here. He was talking about motivation the other day. He seems to be motivating me, all right. I haven't paid him for it either. All right, number 6. Did you ever tell your problems to your cat? Only to find out later that she doesn't know English. I've done that a few times, actually. It's true. I tell me problems to the cat all the time. She never says a bloody word. Number 5. You know being human is not easy. But what's the alternative? Turning into a unicorn. Number 4. That one needs work too. Number 4. Being human is being a painter's. It's like being a painter's brush. All day long. Up and down, up and down, up and down. Number 3. We're funny as humans, aren't we? We're the only species that are afraid of our thinking and think there's something to be afraid of by our thinking. It's like, I suppose it's like there's an apple on the ground and there's a big shadow from the apple. And we're afraid of the shadow, not the apple. And there could be a man-eating apple. Seamus, that's a terrible one. I'd move on if I were you. Well, I was trying some improvisation there. But it didn't go very well with the apple. Maybe I should have used an egg. Alright, number 2. Humans are funny. We want to control everything and everyone. That's why we're so busy and have no time for ourselves. Oh yeah, sure, I'm too busy trying to control everything. I have no time for myself or the kids or anyone else. Alright. The number 1 thing that you absolutely do not need to know about being a human is this. 5 rules for being human. Here they are. You are a god. You already know everything in the known universe. Everything that you are seeking is within you. You are the soul, and you can never die. And you'll forget all of this at birth, and you'll remember it when you're dead. My name is Seamus O'Flaherty, and that was the top 11 things you absolutely do not need to know about being human. You're listening to the Celtic Coach radio show, and in a few minutes, well, the Irish guy, he'll be back. Anyway, until the next time, my dear listeners, that was no a blarney. Welcome back to the show. Seamus, that was actually pretty good, Seamus. I was impressed with your top 11 list. Seamus, you're a tough cookie, Seamus. You are a tough cookie. All right, everyone, we're gonna start to wrap up our show today. So if you just joined us, welcome. You've missed the entire show, but you can go to thecelticcoach.com and under radio show. Weekly radio shows, you can pick up a copy of it, or you can put in your email on the website, and I will send you a link to like an iTunes, a SoundCloud, and a link to the website with the recording on it. So feel free to do that at thecelticcoach.com. All right, and if you're interested in coaching, you can email me at thecelticcoach@gmail.com or check my website out and contact me there. Look, I'm in the business of supporting people to get the most out of their life. I'm in the business of helping people to get the most out of themselves, to create some great stuff in the world, whatever it might be, and have a lot of fun along the way. So, feel free to contact me. My cell number is 707-494-0638. All right, everyone, let's wrap up our show today. I hope you've gotten something valuable from our show today. The title of it was "It's Not Going to Spank Itself," and it really was. It was out of an experience I had by looking at women's shorts. And by the way, they were just on the walkway there in Venice, and I happened to see them. I wasn't looking for it. And it said, "It's not going to spank itself." And I thought to myself, that's how I live my life. I'm constantly spanking, hitting myself, forcing myself, trying to motivate myself to move through life. Now, there is a deeper intelligence that is moving us through life. Now, what that is, I cannot say really. I mean, I call it God, but you call it with paddy, whatever you want. Socks, it doesn't matter. And it seems to line up, as I look back on my life, it seems to line up everything for me in accordance with what needs to happen for me in my life. And the more I push against what's going on in my life, the harder things seem to get. The more I push my will onto something, not giving myself a break, the harder things seem to get. So I'm going to invite you for the next week, between now and next Friday for the next show, that if you want to create something new in your life, let's say you want to lose weight, you want to make some more money, you want to change your job, don't even put any focus on that. Just begin with some willingness. Right? People say, I've got to be committed, I've got to be all in. It's rubbish. It's absolute rubbish. You do not need to be committed. You ever find that the people that need to be committed actually need to be committed? And you don't need to be all in. When I look back on my life, there's really nothing that I was ever all in about. And I've done some pretty wonderful things in my life. Things that I thought I could never do. But I wasn't fully in, but I was willing. And that's enough. The baby learning to walk is willing to learn how to walk. They don't know how to do it, but the next thing is shown to them. The piece of the puzzle is given to them, and they learn to walk that way. So what would you be willing to try in your life if you knew you might fail? What would you be willing to do in your life, some small thing or big thing, if you were willing to fail? Now, we as individuals, as I said earlier, we're always making the best possible choice. When I look back on my life, every choice that I made, even when I look back on it now and I think, God, that was a terrible choice that I made. Smoked for 30 years. But I knew in that moment that it was the best possible choice I could make in that moment, given the thinking, given the level of wisdom and intelligence that I had in that moment. So don't beat yourself up if your life doesn't look perfect. It's never going to be perfect. Just be willing to take the next step when it shows up. And if you don't know what the next step is, then wait a day. Don't beat yourself up. Babies don't beat themselves up for making a wrong choice. Oh, I didn't walk today. I'm terrible. I need therapy. No, you're going to walk. You just got to give yourself a little more time. Remember that every choice, every negative that you call negative behavior, has a positive intention for you. Always. Look back on your life. Ask any habit that you're doing right now that you don't like, that maybe you're stuck on. Ask yourself what that habit or belief, maybe it's a negative belief about yourself, what's the positive intention? And you will find it. You will absolutely find it. And start to give yourself permission to have a little more fun in your life. Start to give yourself permission to mess this thing we call life up. Give yourselves permission to mess up your relationships and then go back and try again. Give yourself permission to be in the dead-end job with the willingness to move forward when a new job appears. Give yourself the willingness, the permission to try something new if the old thing is not working. Give yourself permission that when you're having a bad day, give yourself permission to have a bad day. And if you're going to have a bad day, and if you want more on that, you can listen to last week's show. If you're going through hell, why not enjoy it? If you're going to have a bad day or a bad hour or a bad hair day, whatever it is, give yourself permission to do that. And do it fully. If you're going to sit on the couch and veg and eat Doritos for 2 hours, then do it fully. Give yourself permission to enjoy the hell out of it. knowing that you're not going to be there for the rest of your life. Because another principle is the principle of change. Change happens. If you don't believe me, just look at a picture of me when I was 25 and I had lots of hair, and now look at me at 45. Plus, no hair. Change happens, trust me. So here's a question for you. What permission would you like or love to give yourself today? If you could give yourself permission to do something, to be something, to have something, to create something, to allow yourself something, what permission would you like or love to give yourself today? Maybe it's just the permission to have an ordinary day. Maybe you're an overachiever. Maybe you're someone who would like to achieve more. But until you stop beating yourself up for the things that you're not doing, or for the things that you are doing but not doing them perfectly, you'll always be beating yourself up about those things. So give yourself permission to be okay with where you are today. Try it. See what happens. I believe we come back many times, but this life that you have right now is so unique, it's so special, it's so noble, it's so beautiful, even in its craziness. It's a wonderful life, to paraphrase a phrase of a movie. So be nice to yourself today in whatever way that shows up. As always, it's a pleasure and an honor to be able to bring this show to you. We're complete for now, everyone. For the future, think big, have fun, stay curious. I'm the Celtic Coach, and that, my dear listeners, is no blarney.